Okay, the next part of the tape, or developing the complete receiver, will be releases. Okay, the first one we're going to start off, there's 3 releases we have to work against, or 3 types of corners. The first is a soft corner. We simply call that a vertical with speed release. We're coming out of our stance low and hard like we always do, or like we always teach. The second one is going to be against a rolled corner, or cover 2 jam corner, or his job is to funnel or redirect the receiver. Our third and final will be against bump and run, which, as I told you in the beginning of the tape, has taken of greater significance since the pressure defenses and bump and run coverages. We're going to start here now with there's 3 types of releases we use against a roll or cover 2 corner. Benny's going to be the cloud corner or rolled up corner, and first we're going to work on is stick release. Stick release is something we're going to use on routes, for example, curl. We want to widen the throwing lanes. Okay, we want to sell and stretch the corner and take an inside release, get him to widen and work inside. Another way of thinking is the inside receiver, when his job is to clear it out against a cover 2 structure where the guy's not going to let you down the middle of the field. All we're going to do is attack his technique or attack his hand of his technique, have the defender overplay, slip inside and run your route. Okay, we'll start off here with Malcolm's going to be the receiver, top of the number split. You're going to be back about 4 yards off. This is a typical cover 2 look we're going to see. He's going to attack the man's technique or his outside hand. Okay, if we attack his outside hand, this guy's taught not to let him outside. He should start to stretch. We never want to get outside his framework of his body because we still need to get inside and run our curl route, whichever route you need, dig or whatever you want, where you want to stretch the throwing lanes in a cover 2 look. So he's going to attack his outside. He's going to get close, pound his feet, and punch that outside leg to get the corner to overplay the threat of an outside release. Slip inside, use his hand, and we're going to tie together a low drive and then get your width back to stretch the throwing lanes in a curl. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. Okay, this is going to be rolled corner, and we're going to use a stick release. Attack his technique or attack his outside hand. All right, here we go. Hard. All right, here we go. Set, go. Attack his outside, punch, get inside. Good. Okay, nice job. The next release we're going to use is called a best release. The only time we ever use a best release is when we're running a streak and we're trying to stretch a defense and we're trying to get 44 yards downfield as fast as we can. Excuse me. The best way to do this, our split will be the top of the numbers. Our aiming point is going to be 4 yards outside the rolled corner. If he's 4 yards outside the rolled corner, his rule or his objective is not to let him have a clean release, and most importantly, never outside release, because that safety's in a bind now because he's on the hash. So we're going to aim 4 yards outside. Then we're going to read this outside shoulder of the defensive back. If he has something we call a hard corner where he tries to overplay and not let you outside, we're going to slip inside and get your width back and take off down the field. Okay? If he has something we call a soft shoulder, that means he's lazy on his technique and he's not really concerned about the jam, we're going to call it a soft shoulder, where he's coming over here and he's giving you that soft shoulder. We're going to take that because, once again, our objective is to be 30 to 40 yards down the field away from that safety near the hash. Okay, one other rule. When it is a best release and you have a hard shoulder, and what I mean, that guy's not going to let you outside, you can never redirect inside the numbers. Okay, because once again, our objective is stay away from that safety on the hash, and you have a chance of catching the ball over here near the sideline. Okay? All right, here we go. First one we're going to be is a soft shoulder. Okay, Benny, you got a soft shoulder. The guy's not quite as aggressive on his technique and a little bit lazy, and we're going to read his shoulder. He's going to aim, once again, this is critical, 4 yards outside to make that guy react. If you aim 4 yards outside, a lot of times that guy's got to cross over like this to stop you. Then you can slip inside and get your depth. All right, there you go, soft corner. Best release against a rolled corner, soft shoulder. Here we go. Set, go. Good. Take it. And you got it. Okay, hustle back, Malcolm. Okay, the next part we're going to do is the hard shoulder, where now the receiver aims 4 yards outside, and we get the defensive back even to cross over and really be over-aggressive and not let him outside. We're going to slip back inside and get your depth downfield. You'll notice he'll be very similar, if not the same exact spot as if he went outside release, if he gets his width back. Okay, here we go. Just to review with you, the only time we use this best release is when we're trying to get a streak and get the receiver downfield and stretch the defense as fast as possible. All right, here we go. Now you got a hard shoulder, Benny. You're going to once again aim 4 yards outside, pop inside, and get your width running down the field. All right, here we go. Set, go, aim outside, boom, slip inside. Okay, notice he was in a very similar spot as he was before when he got the soft shoulder. Okay, that's the best release. Okay, hustle back, Malcolm. Next release we're going to use today is going to be the we went through the stick release, we went through the best 9, and now we're going to do something we call a low drive. Those are on routes where it's predetermined you need to go inside or outside, and all we're trying to do is here deliver the punishment as opposed to taking the punishment and be aggressive. So for example, we got Malcolm split on top of the numbers. Our rule, we have to go outside any rolled corner. So Benny is once again our rolled corner. He's going to play good technique on this. All Malcolm's going to do is invite the collision, and rip through an outside release. Rip through an outside release. All right, here we go. You're going to get your pads down and rip as low as you can, and rip high to low. Low to high, excuse me, low to high. All right, this is a low drive. Once again, used on releases or routes where it's predetermined you need to go outside release. Okay, low drive release. Set, go. Good. Okay, releases against a bump and run or press corner is something I told you about is taking greater priority with the evolution of pressure defenses and bump and run man coverage. Okay, we're going to have Malcolm, as I told you in our stances, we're going to balance up. Benny here is going to play an inside half or inside press on the man. Every release we use involves a triple move with your footwork, and I'm going to go through our footwork quickly, and I'm going to go through and spend some time on our hand placement and a unique release we use here at Notre Dame. Okay, when we use a triple move, defensive backs have a tendency and are taught instinctively to react to the receiver's second move. So when I say a triple move, it's going to be, I'm going to just put that foot down. If I'm going inside release, just an inside move, hard punch to the outside, then coming back inside. And our thought process is here. If I'm in a good stance, get my hands up. If I attack and just put that foot down, he's going to sit and get ready to react to my next move. My next move, I want a hard punch to the outside. I'm trying to lock him up as I have done here. Lock his hips up. The only way he can stop me from going back inside is by bringing that hand up and trying to stop me. This is where the hands come involved. And we're going to teach, it's called a grab and pull. Okay? First thing I'm going to do is try to chop and get that hand off me. I'm doing that for a couple reasons. First, to get his hands off me. Second, if I make a good collision, what I'm doing is I'm exposing some shoulder pad and some jersey, and I'm going to take this left hand as pass rushers do on an offensive lineman. I'm going to grab whatever I can, and I'm going to pull myself through in a route and then close them off with my outside leg. Okay? A quick review that I'm going to have Malcolm demonstrate it for us. Okay? If I'm going to take an inside release, good stance, I'm going to bounce up in a basketball position, hands up to avoid any contact. If you start with your hands down, a lot of times you lose on an aggressive defensive back where he's up in your cushion right now. Okay, so it's just going to be put my foot down, boom. Second, I want to have make a hard punch to the outside. He's going to lock up. Then I'm going to come down. I'm going to grab whatever I can. I'm aiming for that back number on his jersey. I tell him to tear that jersey off. You're pulling, and then I'm going to take my outside foot and close him off and then get into my route. Okay, that's called a grab and pull release. Here we go. Okay, this first one's going to be about half speed. We'll come right back and go full speed. All right, here we go. In, out, in, grab and pull. Set, go. Good. Okay, hustle back. Exaggerate. Now this one's going to be full speed. I want you to grab that jersey. I want you to grab the jersey. Okay, watches. This is the hand. We always tell them this is the hand that chops it. This is the hand that sets you free. Okay, we're going to pull ourselves through. Actually use the defensive back as leverage, pulling us into the route. Okay, here we go. Set, go. Grabbing. Okay, good. One more time coming through. We're just going to walk through the last one. Okay, just walking through. So it's going to be in, out, back in, slap, grab and pull. Okay, we're just walking now. Okay, here we go. Set, go. Step, step, grab, pull, and get into your route. Okay, good. That's grab and pull. Next one we're going to use, say you have a receiver not quite as tall and you don't have the arm leverage where you can reach out and grab guys. We're going to do the same exact technique, only now we're going to do, instead of grab and pull, where you're exposing yourself, and if you don't have the long arms, it's a little harder to get done. We're going to go in, out, in. Hand comes up to stop me. All we're going to do is chop, double chop, get my arms off me, and get me into the route. This is used, once again, with receivers that don't have the same kind of wingspan or arm length like a Malcolm does. All right, here we go. In, out, in, slap, chop. Set, go. Good. Okay, one more time. Okay, let's go full speed. Don't quite overextend as much. Make it a little bit harder on them. All right, here we go. This is in, out, in, slap, chop. Set, go. Good. All right. Next one against bump and run, we're going to use something called, we use on slants, where we want to self-fade. And the Green Bay Packers do this as good as anybody. Where we're just taking off, making the defensive back, give the appearance we're running a fade or takeoff right now. We want to get the defensive back to cross over and get in this kind of situation or relationship with you. And we're going to use the same grab and pull technique, and we're going to add a slap to it. So Benny gets up on me, inside press, set, go. I'm just going to turn and take off. I'm going to get in. Once he gets to cross over, bring that leg up. I'm going to try to club him, grab anything I can, and then come inside and run in the slant. The secret here, get a good 3 steps to the fade to get him to turn and run. We want to have him in his crossover position as he can't recover as you come back and underneath. Okay? This is self-fade, grab and pull, and we use it on a slant route. All right, here we go. Notice a good stance. Balanced stance, hands up tight. This is self-fade, grab and pull. This will be 3/4 speed. Set, go. 1, 2, 3, boom. Good. Okay, one more time. Let's go full speed. One time. Self-fade, grab and pull. All right, set, go. All right, next type of release against bump and run are used on routes where we do not want the defensive back between ourselves and the quarterback. So we call it lazy releases, or the same release you would use if you're a poor releaser. So Benny's inside press, and I'm running a curl route. I don't want to have him in this kind of position. I don't want to have him in the throwing lane of a curl route. So we're going to use it two different, lazy with leverage and lazy with the throw by. First of all, lazy with leverage. I'm going to forget all that good footwork, the triple, because we want to have him on our upfield shoulder. So it's going to be, I'm in this position. Set, go. I'm just taking off. I'm going to get him riding my upfield shoulder. When I get to the top end, I'm going to leverage into him and then work back to the ball and have an unobstructed throwing lane for the quarterback. Okay? The second one we're going to do is lazy with the throw by. Now, the defensive back is too far inside. I can't use a lazy inside leverage like I just showed you. So I'm going to take a lazy outside. Set, go. He's going to be running with me because I did a poor job with my footwork. I just took off. He's going to be running with my upfield shoulder. Once I hit my depth, I'm going to do something real fast and use a throw-by technique. And once again, give that quarterback an unobstructed flight line to throw the football. Okay, first one. You're running a curl, okay? He's giving you, he's on the inside half. There's still plenty of time you can run, or plenty of room you can run an inside release and leverage back to the ball. Go full 10 yards. This is a lazy with leverage release against bump and run. Okay, let's go 3/4 speed. Set, go. Just lean back. Boom. Okay, good. Okay, now we're going to do lazy where he's played inside with the throw by. Okay? Now I want you to turn and run with him. You just forget your footwork. Notice the footwork. We're not doing that triple anymore. We're doing it actually lazy. That's why we call it lazy. Poor footwork. That means just take off, let him run with you, and then at 12 yards, do the throw by. All right, here we go. 3/4 speed. Set, go. Turn, run, 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 run. Boom, get rid of him. Very good. Come on back. Let's do that full speed one time. Okay, lazy with the throw by. This is actually the one we use most often in our games because we see the hard inside press. All right, here we go. Full speed, Benny. Full speed. A little bit more inside. Okay, good. He's taken away his inside with leverage release that we talked about a minute ago. Now it's got to be outside and use that throw by at 12 yards. Full speed. Use great arm action here, Malcolm. Set, go. Good. The next phase of developing the complete receiver has to deal with blocking, and we take great pride here at Notre Dame, and our players do, with going down and trying to completely dominate a game as far as a one-on-one battle with a defensive back. There are 4 common errors with missing a stop block. The first one is lack of effort, and that's just done. You correct that by either not playing the receiver or making a big emphasis on being as good a receiver as blockers as you possibly can be. The second one is being over-aggressive. A typical block by an inside receiver takes about 2 to 3 seconds, where an outside receiver, it takes about 4 to 5 seconds before that block actually matters. So there's a lot of time out there where you need to control a good athlete on a good athlete. The next common mistake is not staying square, where we give a soft shoulder. Same thing the defensive back used on a release, where we're opening the funnel for the defensive back to come underneath and make the play. And the final one is not controlling the defender on contact time. And that means after that 4 to 5 second block, if you're not locked up and not controlling him, the guy can disengage and make the tackle for an 8-yard gain. Okay, so once again, just the emphasis, lack of effort, and making sure the receiver, your head coach, coordinators understand that that's a critical part of the game in the run game. The receiver's block is the difference between an 80-yard play and an 8-yard play. So we make a big deal. We give a whole system of block points where guys do a good job blocking downfield. They have to understand their block is the difference between a big play and a short play. Okay, we're going to teach a progression to you here right now. Malcolm's going to be 5 yards apart. This is something we teach and spend a lot of time in spring drill and in two-a-day practices. Okay, the first part of the progression is going to be the approach. Now, I have Malcolm here, sprint and breakdown, and sit on his outside half of a man. I'll go through it with you now. All right, set, go. Okay, he's going to sit on his outside. Notice his feet are barely moving, hands in a strike position, flat back, and now you can stop your feet. A big part of this is keeping his head and shoulders back because the defensive back is going to try to catch and get anything he can to disengage and make a tackle. Okay, so we got a cushion. We want to keep that cushion as long as possible. That's one of our advantages. Okay, go on back. So that was the approach. Okay, the next part's going to be the approach plus strike and recoil. Okay, now we're going to ask Malcolm to do the same exact thing, break down on him with his feet not going quite as fast, feet barely moving, hands in a strike position. On the second command, he's going to hit on the rise, low to high, try to jar the defensive back and recreate a little bit of that cushion that he lost as the defensive back came close to him. All right, here we go. It's going to be strike and recoil. Okay, set, go. Okay, he's going to sit down and hit. Sit back down. Okay, good. All right, hustle back. Okay, the next part's going to be strike, recoil, and then on the next command, they're going to shuffle to Benny's left, Malcolm's right, 3 steps, shuffle back and forth. This is the next phase of a stock walk where you're working downfield, and you have to keep your butt between the defender and the ball carrier. Okay, and all we're trying to do is if I start losing them this way, I'm punching to control. And all I'm doing is punching. Instead of holding them, I'm punching them to get them back in the framework of my body. It also throws my butt in the hole. As I lose them the other way, start the other way, boom, 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 I'm doing the same thing. I'm punching them to get them back in my framework and throwing my butt back in the hole. Okay, this is punch to control. Back and forth, we'll do it about 3 or 4 times. All right, set, go. Okay, approach and hit. Okay, sit back down and hit. Shuffle out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Notice him throwing his butt back in the hole. Keep going, and break. Okay, now the next part is going to be the last common mistake. I said it was not controlling the defender on contact time. And that means after 4 seconds, if this guy's still fighting you, that means one thing. That means that ball carrier is right behind you. We're going to ask our receiver to get his hands inside, grab a hold of anything he can, and tug him in close and drive him off the ball. Okay, so we're going to go through the whole progression once again, and the final phase is going to be lock on. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. We got approach, strike, recoil, punch to control, then lock on. All right, here we go. Set, go, approach. Stay right there, Benny. And hit. Okay, now we'll break down and go. Shuffle out. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Keep going. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And lock on. Drive them out of there. Good. Hope. Okay, the final drill we're going to do today is something we call the mirror strike drill. And this is a drill that we've developed over the years that is actually the most game-like situation you can put a receiver and defensive back in. We're going to put him in a 5-yard shoot. And Malcolm, what he's going to do on my command, he's going to push off. And once again, like I said, the greatest threat a receiver has running a route is the threat of going deep. The greatest advantage a receiver has in a stock block is the cushion. So everything we're going to talk about is the approach, and then recreating cushion as much as you can, and then it's going to be a mirror strike drill, and that's just going to be the punch to control, and then after 4 seconds, I'm going to make the command lock on, and he's going to drive him out of there, okay? And a couple critical coaching points are, as he's doing, I'm going to be counting 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, and then I'll say lock on. That gives the receiver the what happens in the feeling of what happens in a game-like situation where you have to hold that block for 4 seconds. It's not a 2-second block. You need to hold on to that. Then that clock's got to go off in your mind and in your head that after 4 seconds, you got to lock on and control the defender like we talked about earlier. Okay, Malcolm's going to get in the stance. Benny's going to be about 3-4 yard cushion. On my command, he's going to push off. We're going to focus on the defensive back's arms. As long as he's still backpedaling, we'll keep backpedaling. We like to make this block 30 yards down the field. Okay, when he breaks down, we break down. We want to maintain a 3-yard cushion. So Malcolm, we want him to drive off. We want you to backpedal hard. When I break it down, you break down. Maintain a 3-yard cushion. The next command, I'll say set, move. Benny's going to come up and he's going to make the collision, or it's going to be the strike and recoil. Okay, from there, I'm going to say move again. Then it's a free-for-all, back and forth for 5 yards. You're going to use the punch and control technique, and then at the end, I'll say lock on. Okay, this is first one's going to be about 3/4 speed, where you just feel it out, and the last one will do full speed. All right, here we go. Remember, the command's going to be set, go. You backpedal, and then I'll break it down. Set, go. Backpedal, break down, and move. Bam, good. Now work back and forth. Move. Work back and forth. Good. One-hand punch, Malcolm. One-hand punch. Good. All we're doing is watching his numbers and try to shiver and keep our butt in the hole. And lock on. Okay, good. Let's do one full speed now. Okay, this one's a free-for-all. Full speed. Full speed. This time I'll count out 1001, 1002, 1003, and 1004. All right, here we go. This one's full speed and we'll finish up. All right, here we go. Set, move, and hit. Boom. Work, work now, Malcolm. Full speed. Work. Bend and work. Punch, 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 punch. And lock on. Get him out of there. Okay, good. Just a quick review with you. We've gone through the 4 phases of developing a receiver. We've gone through footwork. We've gone through ball drills and ball security. We've gone through releases. And the final phase we just completed was the blocking progression. It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much.